Hello. So for this next chapter, I'm going to go over a bit more of gesture, the idea of drawing by gesture rather than just kind of setting it up like we did before. Like we just did, it's a good starting point and a good way to understand proportions and how bodies are laid out. But generally speaking, the further you get into drawing more figures within illustration and comics, you want to just represent more dynamic poses and more kind of gestural, fun kind of ways to convey the body itself. So what we're going to do is we can just start. I'm going to start off doing a few of them and then later in pencil and then later move on to using a pen. I'm just using a micron 05. It's a thicker pen. You could just use any kind of old pen you find at home, but this is just to kind of differentiate between the loose gesture line of a pencil versus a kind of finished idea of using a pen. Although these won't be finished drawings at all, but this is, again, to help us really kind of build up our strength with drawing characters and movement within the figure. So let's start off with something simple. We're going to have, we like to just draw out the ovals of connecting the body of being the upper torso, where the ribs are, and then the stomach, or even just the waist. So I kind of set it up here, so I have this like the waist, maybe the stomach is in between there, and then I'm just going to do a big kind of gestures of, the arms are going to be kind of spread, maybe this one's going down a little bit, but this one's sticking straight out, and again, just loosely kind of finding fun gestures with it. So maybe this person's kind of jumping in the air from one point, or jumping from one point to another. I'm going to have this leg bent a little bit. So I loosely kind of drew out all the gestures. It's a little bit above doing a stick figure instead of just drawing solid stagnant lines. I'm very loosely with my pencil just finding the flow of the character kind of running here with the arm turn. So now I could think about what I already knew from drawing the figure in the last chapter. So I kind of know where I could set up the folds of the body of, okay, this is where the shoulders are going to be, and this person's armpit, and this is the size of the ribs, and then their stomach's going to be right here. I know this is, from this angle, the hips are turned, so I'm going to see the thigh. So this is more of like looking at the side of the thigh, and then so this is an angle that's the side of the thigh, and it could go all the way up to the back and meet with the spine there too. So I could have like a free-flowing form right there. This is the thigh there, and then the other one kind of peeks out from behind it. I know where my knee is going to be, and that's going to go down to the lower part of the calf, and the front part is going to be straight, of course. That is the shin, having the foot go up. I'm turning his at the knee down here for this first leg that we see, and that's turned because they're running. The bottom shin is straight, and then I'm going to go ahead and draw a shoe down there or foot down there. I can go ahead from up here. We know I did the bones up here for the collarbones and the shoulder blades, and that's going to go, and I'm going to say the elbow's right about there, and then this part of the arm is turned, and then the hand, again, I'm just going to draw a bit of a mitten for the hand, and then this other arm right here is sticking across and then down, and again draw another kind of hand that's going down there, and I could hook up. I know the head is kind of turned at this angle. You could draw the neck connected to it, and now I have this character kind of awkwardly running or jumping away from something here, right? So I did that pretty loosely, this is considered gesturally, a very loose pencil, feeling out the lines. There's a lot of kind of scribble lines in there, and that's why I go into it with another pen to kind of really build up what I just drew and to kind of pull out all the main lines I really want to see to help build this character into something that is a little bit beyond kind of a sketch, right? And then this will help us with more of these kind of gestural sketch drawings. Outside of it just being a sketchy pencil, you can have a finished inking. You can practice doing your inking a bit more with this, but as well as leading yourself to what kind of main lines that you want to show of the folds in the body when you're drawing these characters. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the thigh there, and I know that turn is there. We have armpit. So I'm just kind of going over, picking out all the main good lines I just drew. Now, the back, going throughout it. So I'm going to do this pretty quick. This is just kind of fun. We're really just kind of pulling out the main pose that we want to represent here with these characters. Again, I'm going to stick with the mittens for now, for the hands. We don't have to worry about them too much. And then I could just finish it off where I know where the head is. I'm not even going to draw a face. I just kind of draw a cross through the face so I could see where the eyes and the center of the head is going to be. A little finishing touching with the last bit of foot down there. So if you want, you could kind of, well, maybe we'll go into a little bit more, but for the future ones. But this is kind of like the general idea of what we're going for here. We just loosely set up a gesture, and then we built upon it by adding the lines in pen. So let's go ahead and do another one here. Again, I'm working with an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper and pencil. I could probably fit 3 or 4, maybe let's go for 3 per page here. So for this one, I'm going to say maybe, let's feel this gesture out. Maybe let's go from, sometimes you could go from the top to the bottom, right? So I'm going to just do a big old line here. I know this is going to be the top of this person's hand right here. Goes down. This is where their head and stuff will be picking out. Maybe their other arm is back here sticking out. And then this is just working their spine all the way down to their other foot. So I'm going to work all the way down, and then I know the other foot's going to peek out right here. So this is maybe, again, another kind of moment of someone running. Maybe it's like a track moment of them about to cross the finish line. So I started with one big gesture here, and I'm just adding the other leg peeking out there. Again, this is really kind of super flat so far, so now I can just kind of really do my squiggle lines. This is the point of view I'm showing here is the side, so it will be a bit skinnier, but I am still working with a bigger shapes than just sticks here. So drawing out the side of this thigh here, this is the side of their body. I know this is where their armpit will be, so this is the front of their chest. And then we're going to see their chest and their back at the same time. This goes up, and then we know we have this our shoulder blade right there, which is going to obscure part of the image of their head here. And then obviously on the other side of their body, we know the other hand's coming out. So that is obscured by the head. So we can continue this arm up. Say the elbows are right there. Figure out where the top part of the arm is, lower part. Let's go for some more mitten, maybe a little bit more than a mitten. Maybe another simple way to do hands. You can just kind of draw a circle or like more of like a keystone shape, and then just with kind of stick fingers sticking it out, and then with that you just add a little bit of form to it. So this other arm is going to be sticking out too, and again just drawing a little pad here, fingers. Stick fingers, and then add a little bit of form to it. So moving on down, got the chest, the stomach, hits the thigh. This is a complete side view of it. So we see the buttocks here, but as well as the side of the thigh going down across. Now we could go down, the arch in the back for the calf. So his knee is really kind of bent here. He's in the mid-run, but this back one we know goes straight out, and maybe his foot is even like maybe the ground is down here, and he's jumping or something like that. So this foot, again, stretched out. I'm sticking with a bit of a wedge. We know where the ankle is going to be. Do a little oval down there for the ankle. Moving it up for the back calf, straight in the front. And again, the top of this thigh is going to be obscured by the front thigh, right? So now we have our character kind of just running for the winning goal, or the winning track and field meet I'm going to go over this pretty real quickly with my pen to begin with. So now this time around, we can start adding costumes to what we want. So with the idea of using folds before to represent mass in the body, we know that clothes fold around the body itself, right? So let's go with this track meet scenario. I could just go ahead, draw the top of the shorts, because I know that folds around the waist there. You know, they have those kind of scrunchy things. Just do a little pattern in there. And then the bottom, they have that little cut in it at the bottom of the shorts, and I can start connecting them. But instead of just doing straight lines to connect them, I like to build it up with folds, because where your points of articulation are, that's where a lot of the folds build up. So you'll see a lot of folds, especially points that bent right here in the thigh. This is obviously shorts, but people wearing pants, they have a lot of folds on the back of their knee, on the elbows, around the middle of the shirt, things like that. So instead of just drawing a straight line to represent the shorts, I'm just building it up with some folds, and I already know under it the skin, or the kind of the mass of the body. So I have to make sure these shorts go beyond just a little bit thicker than the actual body mass that we drew, because they're not, unless it's like something that's skin tight spandex, but which is not in this track scenario. So from there, I could start adding a bit of a fold for the shirt. Maybe the shirt's kind of blowing up a little bit. So drew the line to go around it a little bit. So I kind of drew it out. I know this is the main stomach line, but then the fold goes up and around the lines and kind of wraps it around it there. So I could go back into here. Track and field, they work with the kind of tank tops. So this is the lower part of the tank top, because I know this is the armpit. So I can go ahead and draw the actual arm of the fold here. We know that the armpit's right there, and then this is their shoulder blade and their arm there. So we have their tank top kind of waving in the wind there around and meets up with the shoulder blade, and I'm sure it's a little kind of, we have a very side view of it, so it's a little slit right there. We could see the start of the other tank top there. And now we have the face. We know I could just draw. I'm going to go into the face a little bit more. I still want to leave it a bit blank, but I could just have a little shape. We know like the slope of the forehead goes in where the eyes are. Maybe the nose sticks out. And then where the mouth is. I know the ear will be right around there in accordance to where the eye is. And then this poor person is, again, just going to be kind of a bald humanoid person. Maybe, who knows what it is exactly. Maybe a bald alien kind of runner. So I'm just going to leave it at that. You can go ahead and draw actual face onto it if you want. I'm not going to bother with that. So going on up, we know is where the elbows are going to meet. And then you could draw ahead a line right there, because you could see within your elbow, you have a bit of a line that cuts across the in the crease of the elbow as well. And it's going to go up to the bottom part of the arm. And now I'm just going to loosely go and do the folds of the hand here. I usually start with the thumb, go up and around, and now I could just draw that. And then the first finger, and then usually for cartooning, a simple way to do that, I'll just draw a little line connected right there. And then from there, I could draw the middle finger, the ring finger, and then the pinky finger goes out beyond that line to finish off the hand. So you can add even little folds within that too, because you can see on your hand, you'll see a lot of folds and wrinkles within both this big chunk of your hand connecting the thumb, and then the whole other side where the pinky goes down. So I'll just have a little folded right there as well. Okay, go ahead and do the other one. I have a bit of a different angle on this one. We know that's where the thumb's going to be. And now some of these fingers might be kind of popping out of each other because we're looking back in space. So I started with the pointer finger and then work my way down, each finger kind of coming out of the other one. We're going to work the top of the arm. We see the elbow there, and that's going to, we know beyond that head, it's going to go throughout there to reach. So his arms are really kind of reaching for the sky there. Let's go back down. Here we have the legs, the thighs kind of coming out of where the shorts are. And then we know, especially when you turn your leg, you have a real big fold of the calf behind your knee. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap around socks around these ankles here. Maybe they're kind of big striped, old school striped socks. And then a front shin. And then whatever kind of sneakers you want to draw. I'm going to do something pretty simple. I just kind of drew the wedge shape. I know they have the tongue that sticks out, and maybe I'll do another line, fill that with lines just to represent the shoelaces, maybe a little circle right there. I can add a little bit more of a sole to it if I want. But again, if you're interested in sneakers and clothing design, go ahead. Make the sneakers look really fun and cool. But I'm just going to keep it very simple cartooning right now. Go ahead. I have this other leg in the background stretching out. Go down. We start where the socks are again. But now this time his feet is bent, kind of pointed outwards. And work out where the shoe is. And again, just a little kind of shoelace design, a little circle, maybe add a sole to it. And then going up, and we connect that with the knee. So then, now generally I have like our track runner here. So I went a little bit further this time. Now we're getting to the point where we could kind of clothe our figures. We could give them outfits and, pose them in different sort of angles. So let's try to do one more real quick. So again, you at home you guys could be doing your own kind of individual gesture drawings of however you want to pose them. I mean, in an ideal situation, you wouldn't even have to go ahead and finish a lot of these with the ink, but you could just do a ton of little tiny ones. So let's say we even just do a little tiny one right in here. I'm going to, again, let's say their knees are bent like that, and maybe someone's like kicking, and their other leg's there, and this one is like that. So maybe something real kind of small. This is someone that, let's say going with like, this person's kind of like squatting down and arms out, and maybe they're talking on the phone, so they have their other elbow up and pointed. So I, again, started really kind of simple, just drawing out the gesture sticks and kind of figuring out where the body is. And then so you could really go into it and make it really look kind of like a stick figure. Now you could really start adding form to it. Add more of the thigh. We know the bend's right there. So then from the angle here, like the back of their thigh is really going to hit the back of their calf. Same on this side as well. And then their feet kind of sticking out down here. So they're kind of squatting down, talking on the phone. So now we could add more of a waist coming out right there. And then I'm just going to go ahead to begin with, just start drawing the pants immediately, even with this. So I'm drawing not only kind of like the folds of the body, but the folds of the clothes immediately. So I know this is where the tops of the pants are going to be. And then a lot of their stomach's going to be skewed by their knees here. And that's where the shoulder blade is. So now the other thing, and maybe their hands kind of like sticking out. That. It's a real kind of quick gesture finger drawing there. And now I can just start adding a little bit more form and meet up to the actual other arm. But that's going to be skewed by the head because they're holding up a phone next to their head. So now I just very quickly drew this. So now we got someone squatting down, talking on the phone. Real quickly with my pen, I'm just going to go ahead and finish this up. So I could even just have a little fun with it. I like to start within the folds. So I know this is going to be a lot of wrinkly spots. So I'm just doing straight up a bunch of lines right there where the thighs and the waist are going to fold. I could draw the back there and then behind the knees. So I would do some kind of a nice kind of big long parenthesis style drawing, and then it ends in kind of a scriggle scraggle of lines that represent the folds behind the knee. Again, I'm going to have the pants kind of collect, especially on the ankles folded up. And then we have the shoes here. Again, if you want to do fancy shoes, I'm going to do real kind of simple shoes here. This other knee is at more of a side angle. So I just drew the front there. You can kind of mess with the ankles a little bit. Go down, do a little fake fun little shoe there, however you want. I'm going to go ahead and draw this person wearing a t-shirt. So I just drew the top of the t-shirt there. It folds into the shirt. You'll see a lot of folds coming out of people's armpits around the rib cage area. This goes up. And now I'm going to have the other arm go down like that. And I'm just meeting it up. And then I'm just going to really kind of do kind of a twiggy finger situation there with their hand. I know their other arm Sleeve's going to be over there. You could draw the actual neck of the t-shirt hole, and then we can go ahead. I'm going to draw this person's face. I'm actually not even going to draw their face. Again, I'm going to just do kind of a faceless person with a cross on their face so I know where their eyes would be. Their other arm is sticking up right there, but it's bent immediately to reach the phone behind their ear, which we can't see. So now we have a pretty simple idea of someone kind of crouched down using a phone there. So on your own, I would really practice doing a lot, just really kind of simple like ideas, maybe like a whole spine one, like this is like someone dancing. So you could do like a whole kind of spinal thing here, and like their foot's coming out right here. Maybe their other foot's in the back there, kind of bent. You know, so I, like, again, like, you can kind of time this thing. I'm not even lifting up my pencil very often. I'm just kind of feeling it, thinking, oh, my character is dancing here. So I could just kind of really squiggly, loosen draw this. And then for the next lesson, we're going to go a little bit more into foreshortening and having different levels of the body come out. So we have something like this, like that. So after we practice drawing a few of these, along with me, I would recommend practicing on your own, filling up a page with a bunch of these little squiggly line kind of characters to kind of get the good gestures read for your characters and have them be a bit more dynamic. So practice that for a bit, and you know, if you're up for it, go ahead and draw another layer of pen on top of the gesture drawings to make it a little bit more finished. But again, these are just kind of working to practice just the movement of the body and make it look good for you for your future drawings. So that is this for this chapter right here, and the next one we're going to go a little bit further into foreshortening.